Hey, what's up? It's the normal playing guy, and I'm back once again. And hey, we have a great set of news where just before the 10th anniversary, still finishing off some of the Majin Buu Saga related stuff, we have two super easy A's. Just couldn't wait just to squeeze it in. It's been a busy few months with Majin Buu Saga. I had predicted on the previous Buu Easy A that we would get a super easy A for the int Buuhan, and it turns out we do now. So I'm gonna call that a win. But we're on Vegitos. So AGL Vegito and int Buuhan, they have the super easy A's. So we'll have a look at this. So with this guy, when he first came out, clutch. He was just like the MVP, right? His damage reduction for when he came out meant that he was a literal god, that only super attacks would take him down, but he would often counter with just normal attacks anyway and just finish everybody off, and crits were the way to go, especially when the hidden potential system came in. Crits were the way to go for him. So now we have his old and his new. When he had his easy A, he was not great. This is all the way back in, when was this? 2020. Wow, it's actually that young, amazingly. So when he had it, 40% to stats is not a lot. Even in 2020 standards, this was actually poor. It's because that he reduces damage by 80% from normals. That's the clutch key thing. But it was useless because a particularly tough opponent would still give you a very hard time. And this guy is worthless. But what do we have now? So I did notice one particular thing, and it's probably going to be the most key thing, and that's straight away his stats. Okay, this will look differently because we're having version 5.25 or whatever, and this is the new look. Actually took me a second because I was trying to find it, but I'm too used to the other one. So this is the new look. It's cleaner. So the most important thing we have here basically is 2-key 200%, period. We have gone from 40% to 200%. That's exactly what this guy needed. And it's kind of something similar with this guy. After his easy A, he has stats and damage reduction. And those stats can build up. But this guy, he just has it flat out. On top of which, you have a flat out 40% damage reduction. When you receive an attack, then it also kicks in. So as previously, that first hit against you was gonna hurt because you had 0 stats and just damage reduction, which meant that even though you had 80%, you had 0 stats. This kicked in after this word, you received an attack. Now we have 200% to stats and 40% damage reduction, period. When you get hit with a normal, and just a normal, and it does actually specify normal, which is why I like this setup, it's nice and clean, then you get an additional 40%. So there you go. Now this would reset turn on turn. So you only need to take the one normal, and for the rest of that turn you're okay. Following ones, you have your 40%, you got to take that next one. Super attacks will kill this guy. And I suppose type disadvantage straight off the bat with a normal would hurt. When you're attacking with full key, you get 150% to your stats. Now this is, so super easy A is the only change to passive. The leader skill and the super attack effect they aren't touched. But with this way, by changing the passive, they can do that. So this is, in essence, when you super attack, you're not only are you just going to have raise allies attack by 35%, you're also going to give yourself 150% to stats, which is monstrous. That's actually ridiculous. We're not just talking 50%, even 100% stats, 150%. If you can tank that shot before, you are immortal on this. 200% with 80% damage reduction. Legitimate, palpable stats on what's likely a 200% team. And then you get this? Ouch. For every attack you receive, the first one gives you damage reduction, but for every attack you receive, you're still going to get 25% stats. And that goes up to 100. And your crit goes from 15 up to 60. What does this guy have? None of this. That's ridiculous. He now builds up with every normal. That first attack you get, you're not just getting 40% damage reduction, you're also getting 25% to stats and a 15% to crit. He is going to be huge. With every hit you take, 2 hits you're going to have 50% to stats on top of this. So your base, you'll have 300% to stats, basically, in essence, right? There's your 50%. You'll have an extra 100. Oh no, actually, I think mathematically it's going to turn out somewhere between 300 and 400, but numbers-wise, actually, it turns out at 400. But we'll see when he's fully built up. But yeah, you're going to be building up rapidly and be immense. When HP is 50% or less, you guarantee guard and foresee super attacks for 2 turns. This is 40% or less for 1 turn. And you don't have guard. So he has guard, meaning that you are just more likely to survive. And then they have the scouter effect. Essentially, I think they've designed this guy. So this guy, he's still a tank. And he can now probably hit hard. But this guy won't be the reason you lose. There are a few units like that where they are designed where this guy will not be the one. And this is just premium A1 tank. If there's a superclass enemy, your own stats go up by a further 50%. And all allies get 2 key 20% defense specifically. It goes to 100% to stats, 3 key, 30% defense for all allies if there's an extreme class enemy. I think giving the 3 key, 30% defense for all allies is actually going to be really, really cool. The fact that you get 100% is ridiculous. So bear in mind, start off, you could be against an extreme class enemy. So you get 2 key, 200%, right? That is automatically doubled. Automatically. So this in essence becomes 400%. You take a bunch of hits and it goes up to it's 100%. Well, it's 25% off each remaining value. So if you're at 400%, then your 25% of that's going to be 25% off that, and then it stacks each time. So I think the numbers wise it goes up to something like 1,000%, but it's going to be about 550, 600% in terms of stats, your start of turn stats, so to say, once you're fully built up. For which, again, he's going to be immortal, flat out. This is insane. It's going to blow this guy straight away. When he EZA'd, he had this, but it's already beaten by 200%, so we're already beaten. He does have 80%, but so does the other guy. Except this guy builds up. Well, then again, to be fair, so does this guy. He builds up by 90%, and the other one builds up to 100. So they're largely similar, but the standard way that we have is this guy has ki in his passive, and this guy has to build up ki. I kid you not. He has to build up ki. It's 1 ki every 3rd hit. You gotta hit 3 times just to get 1 ki. Whereas this guy, he's got it built in. And this is why I always say units with ki in their passive are far superior, because it takes the stress off the board and stress off placing your units. This guy will have 150% to his super attack with having a ridiculous amount of abilities. And then don't forget, you're also going to have guard, and then a lot of difficult content. You do fall under 50% health, and then you will be able to see where that super attack comes in. So they have made it so this guy is not going to be your doom, but he is such a massive improvement. At 2016, so yes, all pretty much when the game was out, but the fact that his EZA was only 2020, dude, it feels longer. I've had a rough 4 years if this is the case, man. This is ridiculous. But yeah, he is going to be lit. But yes, I'll also just quickly pull up what his Super Easy A is going to be, because it's the same as his Easy A. When you hit level 30, you can then you got an Easy A him, and then you got the option to Super Easy A after level 30. The damage is slightly harder, but it remains at roughly level 30. The only difference is you've then got to use existing Easy A characters to take him down. So not only is Easy A's end game content, but Super Easy A's are end game content. I'll just pull it up now. Okay, so it's going to be Transformation Boost. Transformation Boost of your kind is going to do this for him. Remains the same. Remember, existing Easy A units will help. Transformation Boost is a large variety of characters. It doesn't have to strictly be tech. You can even use STR. It's anything that is Transformation Boost and already an Easy A. Automatically, I can think of one lead. While he is STR cooler, he is probably also going to fit this. I believe there is also STR Superboo, who had his Easy A last anniversary, and again, he would probably be able to survive this. There's a few decent people you'll be able to make a team with, so I've got no doubt Transformation Boost is going to be a good one there. So yeah, that's him. Anyway, let me know what you think. This guy is 100% fire. He is beast. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you on Bruhons. Thank you, and bye-bye.